previous 2 attempts have been foiled by a broken down aircraft, or a problem with the aircraft at least. So Douglas will have their fingers crossed that they get this trip under the belt. It's a weekend that nobody wanted to play. As we know, this is the only fixture this weekend, and that's because it's Cup Rugby, plus a very rare occasion England playing the All Blacks. So there was no rugby scheduled. We've even let the Shim and Wilson guys off as well. So Douglas wouldn't have wanted to make the trip, and when I have a look at the team, I can see that there are changes that perhaps are forced. Bryn Snellgrove not available. I can't say for sure whether or not he's heading down to Twickenham, but it's a distinct possibility. But also missing Craig McGee and Guy Wood from the back row and fullback. They'll definitely miss Guy Wood. The pace that he puts into the game and the subtlety of his running lines, he'll be a big loss to them. A couple of guys get the nod up from the second team. That's great news for them. Josh Cairn gets a wing berth in the absence. I think it's Adam Boyd that's missing. And also a couple of changes. Sean and Lance Wiley, they came up from the second team, played last week against Broughton Park in that defeat. And they get the nod again this week from the selectors. Also coming back from injury, Felipe Pereira, the Portuguese international. He's back from, I think he's had an ankle injury. He's been out for a little while. Watched him in the second team 2 weeks ago. Very, very good, particularly at the start of the game. Did a lot of ball carrying. They're going to rely on him a lot if they get him onto the field. It's going to be a difficult one for Douglas. Stockport's the first of the real big boys they've played. They've been away 3 times so far this season, and against all the teams in the bottom part of the table. They lost at Manchester, they've lost at Broughton Park. The only one of those 3 that they've converted into a win was the away win at De La Salle, who are bottom of the table at the moment. And that's going to be a little bit of a worry in the back of the minds of the coaching staff down there at Portichet. The fact that they haven't actually come up against any of the big guns just yet away from home. And they'll desperately want to show that the monkey on the back isn't going to be there for very long, and they could perhaps do that against Stockport, who are up there challenging along with Douglas. And Stockport pick up a bonus point win, they'll actually go ahead of Douglas in the table. So there's a lot to play for, and if they've got real ambition of promotion, this is the week that they're going to have to stand up and be counted. I'm sure Stockport will have the same problems, though, with players potentially away at Twickenham. It's the weekend nobody wanted to play. I'll say that again. I've said it before, and we'll have to wait and see come 5 o'clock tomorrow to see actually how they get on. But fingers crossed they can go away and pull off a result. They did last year. They got a draw at Stockport, who at that time were unbeaten. And Douglas have got the meanest defence in the league. They've conceded 119 points in 7 matches, which is really, really good. Much, much better than anybody else. But there's 3 very potent attacks in the league, and Stockport are one of them. They've scored nearly 300 points. And that'll be a worry for Douglas. And I think last week shipping 31 points, that's the biggest number of points they've shipped in a single game so far this season. And again, that'll be a worry for them. But decent strong squad. Max Singer back into the second row. His bulk always going to be useful around the park. And well, fingers crossed that they can come back with 4 or potentially 5 points, which will put them top of the table.